2 more matches is all we got for the day. 2 more games, 2 more Miramars is all the chances they get today. We'll go back to Group A tomorrow. We'll come back to Group B the day after, like we talked about. But a lot of these teams, Felix, they have to get going now. They cannot wait for the day after tomorrow. They have to get going now, and this is quite a lot of pressure on their backs.
Yes, I don't want to name Cambodia again, but yes, that's a perfect example of a team that just has to pick up the pace now. It is already... I know we've only played 4 matches, and to some of you guys out there, you might think, well, there's still so many chances. Well, there's not. There really isn't. It's a best of 12 after today. 6 matches have been played, and some of these top teams, they will not slow down, and that's what it comes down to. The lobby isn't close enough to justify you having 4 continuously bad games. So Cambodia... Yeah. Japan, for example, as well. Any of the teams that's down there in the second half of the leaderboard, you need to take a win. You need to take a win, otherwise it's just not going to happen anytime soon. And once again, do we reminded some of these top teams, they will have a day off tomorrow as well to potentially regroup and come back even stronger than they are already.
Yeah, and it's a bit hard to come back when you've just been getting absolutely bashed for the whole first day. So. Yeah, it's the same thing every time. I came into today with the goal of not talking about the leaderboard too much, because I think it's a trap you fall into as a caster a lot of the time. But the leaderboard's been so polarizing, and the top teams have pulled so far away that it's become a big topic. And there's no way around it. And it feels really, really good if you're Indonesia right now, and you're pretty happy being Malaysia as well, you know. But like we said, a lot of teams not even close, but teams like Pakistan have shown last game that they can just pull up big, get themselves almost 20 points in the game, right? 14 kills, a few placements, suddenly you're up in there, you're up in the conversation. Yeah. It's certainly possible. There's a whole lot of kill points up for grabs, and there's all the chances to make a stand for yourself. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. Pakistan is one of the top teams that have shown us that it's possible to come back, and also. Even for teams that are less experienced, you can upset some of these teams. Bhutan as well. I think if there's any team, actually, I'll take it back. Not so even Pakistan, it's Bhutan that have shown us, hey, we are less experienced, but we make the right decisions, and we're not scared, and look what happens. These guys are still in contention for a top 3 spot. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into the first Miramar of the day, as we head on over with a very fair plane pass, something that we haven't really seen too much of today.
Yeah, finally a plane path that might leave us with maybe just 1 hot drop. You know, maybe you will. We won't see a whole lot more than that. I already see Thailand dropping in close vicinity of a few other teams, so maybe that's one thing to be keeping an eye out for. But so far, nicely spread apart. Vietnam seems to be going towards the Minas Generalis. Thailand in Ricardo, and then I'm not exactly sure. This might be a Minas hot drop on the cards here.
Yeah, it might be. I think that's probably not going to be the only odd job that we might see. I think surely there's going to be something either at Pozo or towards maybe even Power Grid. We'll have to wait and see. With 18 teams, I expect it to be more than 1 hot job, honestly. And there we have it. Picado is going to be the second spot. What? Where else than Picado? Let's be honest. Where else than Picado? And it is happening. And it's going to be Thailand. Out of all the teams. The team that literally just came back off the back of a win against Japan, the ones that have been struggling the most in this tournament.
But how did Thailand start that last game, Felix? By a hot drop in South Georgia.
Wow.
They love these. And they've been doing them consistently throughout the days here. So it's been a topic for them. It's been something they've been pulling off. And actually consistently winning as well, right? It's very hard to win hot drops consistently. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of chances of you failing, or at least losing 1 or 2 players. Thailand's been awesome at them, and maybe they'll get themselves away with another here.
Yeah, they might. Good shots to start things off for Bangladesh as well. Also one of the teams that still needs a really big round desperately. They've been... not necessarily underperforming, they've just not been fortunate enough to actually get the big points they need. And especially get the rounds they need. Oh my god, is that a pistol knock? I've never seen that happen. I don't even know how this pistol is. I think it's the P92.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
Wow, okay, good shots coming out from Degree, and Bangladesh find themselves the second frag of the tournament. I say. Second frag of this match, 5 of the tournament, obviously. And a very needed one at that.
1-2, thank you, with the P92. That's crazy. That's a crazy kill coming out, and that's a big one. Japan is in the kill feed versus Thailand. Japan's on the good side of things for once. Not something we've seen a whole lot today, as the overall leaderboard will tell a big story about. I said maybe just 1 or 2 hot drops. It's looking like a whole lot more. That's a DBS. Timing's not been clean so far, but look at that. Another one of Thailand knocked. It's fallen all to pieces. And those are the risks you're taking if you continuously hot drop. It's not always going to work out as it has for Thailand. And it's not looking likely again. There's a few flushes coming out already. We might just be down to 1 Thailand player at this point. I think it's 2 still, but maybe one of them knocked to their feet. It's not looking pretty.
Oh. And surprisingly enough, that's what happens. And hot drops. Even lesser experienced teams can outplay you, outmaneuver you. There's so many variables you can't really control, so hot drops, never a good idea, especially in the best of 12 qualifier. And you can tell Thailand, they've had a way better tournament so far. Still losing this one. They're gonna be a little bit pissed about this, honestly. As Japan is still waiting for an entry. Honestly, I feel like it's a little bit too slow for what they've already gotten. They've gotten 2 kills. And they're still not making any move whatsoever. They need to do this fast. They know where the players are. Group up and get the thing done.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I've been praising, I think it was Brunei for in the first game, and then they got 1v4'd by a DBS. So it's tricky both ways, but they do find one now. They trade themselves out. They bring the numbers into their advantage, and they clean it up. Well played by Japan. The first sort of shine of light we see, the first spark of brilliance out of that squad.
Oh, clean.
And a clean movement around the balconies.
Yeah, I like it, I
It's
like
so needed
it.
for them. It's so needed for them. This is their wake-up call. This is their first positive moment here, Felix.
Yeah, this has got to boost their confidence in a massive, massive way. No, you literally just took down the team that has won the last round. You kind of feel like you could do the same now. That's what it feels like. You feel like, okay, now I've got everything I need. If I can take down them, I can take down anyone, because they've done it already. And looking at the zone, they will even have a pretty solid entry. As with any zone, honestly, if you're on Picardo, you're always set for life. So get the vehicles and get going. I'm hoping this is, as you said, going to be a wake-up call. They need a win. They need desperately need a win. Yeah. As I said, they have the very last place team. I believe 4 or 5 points, something around that area. That's disastrous.
It's also just about a little bit more than that, I feel like. It's also just about waking up as a team, right, and realizing that you can get things going. So any sort of big game, any kind of frags, they can get their way up big right now. Bangladesh getting caught out there as a solo instantly breached.
The Blue Goblins.
Nepal has been so clean with this, Alex. Nepal has been really good in their team fights, and that's really what's keeping them up. Look, even there in that situation, right, he has the drop on them, but he's so surrounded and they're so close to each other that he has absolutely no chance. Even if he knocks one, he's never going to get the finish. And it's just nice and clean by Nepal. I love to see it.
Good stuff. Really good stuff. Nepal has been struggling at the start of it, and then they've kind of come back. So seeing them shine and blossom again is definitely warming my heart. 2 frags so far. One more good game in the remaining 2 games that we have will also catapult them within absolute reach, if not already, into the top 3.
Interesting stuff. Brunei, slow on the edges, really taking their time, still looting up a little bit, not fully happy with the loadouts they're rocking at the moment, but I say taking their time. They're in one of the best positions in the circle right now. Lots of information for them as well, lots of ground that's completely uncontested around them. And looking pretty nice so far as they're coming on a more uncontested side of the zone. I see so many teams still outside of the phase 1. A lot of teams towards the northeast as well, towards the northwest. Some potential conflict there, but Brunei sitting pretty in the middle. And as a team that's been winning a lot of fights, that's got to be nice to see.
Gotta be nice to see indeed. Less teams outside this phase 1 than what we usually see outside phase 1, phase 2 in general. Usually some of these teams do take their time, especially if the zone is relatively far away from their drop spot, which on Miramar can happen quite easily, especially with the playing path we've seen. So, interesting that So many teams made it in relatively early. Good rotation through the eastern side from Sri Lanka as well, as we have MIRAMAR going straight to the middle, finding themselves a nice bit of real estate in the very circle center as well. 3 seconds until the next phase shifts, and then should have a pretty good idea of where it's going.
Slow approach from Indonesia on the edge. Things you love to see. This is going to be a bit of a playstyle shift for them, I feel like. It's not as easy to drive around on MIRAMAR. It's not as clean in the rotates, so maybe we'll see them shift away a little bit from the car-heavy gameplay we've seen so far. And I said nice and clean entry. It's not been clean. Yummy caught out. Razy caught out. And just like that, first-place team is down to 2 members, potentially down to 1, but he does actually stay alive there. Sri Lanka, out of all teams, is the one putting in the pain. And really trying to close out Indonesia here. They're not stopping anytime soon as well. Look at the shots coming out. They're clean so far. The UMP should finish this off. He just needs 1 or 2 more bullets coming over the top. And surely he's going to match at least one of them.
Oh, my lord. That was... I mean, that took way too long. But he did make it in the... as a result of that. Vion in the distance, though, immediately trades him out. And Sri Lanka, after that first initial really strong start, are giving it away to some degree again. And look at that, that kill is stolen as well. Frenzy is being picked up by Pakistan, who now wants to clear out Sri Lanka as well.
Pakistan is not pulling any breaks right now. They're really going on in. They've had their fair share of frustrations in the melee base on Erangel. Now they're going in, instantly blown up by Effect, instantly finished as well. He's looking for the second. Can he get it? Yes, he can! Effect steps up big, and that's 2 of Pakistan instantly sent packing.
Yeah, not flushed just yet, though. In fact, in the meanwhile, has been taken out of match number 5. Sri Lanka is now only with 1 more player standing, and he's been spotted out, and I think they're going to hunt for him. You can see first player is already kind of trying to get an angle off, while Cesar is busy healing. He saw the player stop right on top of him, but there's not really much he can do. He's already being shot in the back. That nade should seal the deal.
He's in trouble right now. He's trying to stand up for the squad. He's trying to keep them in it. And just like that, instantly out of it. Pakistan looking good. Effect really brought the pain there for a second. Make sure they don't stay clear in it. And that just goes back to show, right? I keep saying it. It's so hard to stay clean in these. And just one little misstep. Instant knock, instant flush. Almost lost 2 members on it.
Yep. It can happen so very fast. Stage 2 as Stage 3 is approaching. Malaysia with a good split towards the eastern side. No one really around them. And with 15 teams only still standing, well, that's fewer than what they originally expected as well. The complete south side, the complete east side around them is completely clear. They should have this information as well. There is only 1 team rotating in. There's Pakistan, but they're going to take some time and might not be even ready in time for the next circle shift. So Malaysia with lots and lots of space, good positioning, and once again, with all what they've shown us, to be expected with another good one in match number 5 as well.
Phase 3 comes on in, goes hard to that eastern side, and gives you a pretty good idea of why Phase 1 center doesn't matter. Remember when I said Brunei is in almost the middle of the circle? They've now shifted closer towards the middle of Phase 2, and they've still gotten completely cut out by Phase 3. It's early circle position matters a lot less than you think, and matters way more what kind of options you leave yourself open, right? What kind of rotation routes you keep for yourself, what kind of information you can gather. And some of the teams on the northeastern side, they can sing songs about that right now. They've gotten the information, they've gotten the shifts, and now they're able to benefit.
Really good for Malaysia, as we said. Any team that really played through that eastern side. Also, Pakistan now. They've took some time on their edge with all the fights going on. They picked up 4 frags, which only really is worth it if you only lose a player max, which they did. So I guess it's kind of fine. I'm not sure if in a best of 12 instance with the top 3 qualification, it's still the same case. I might even back to differ, but that circle kind of saved them again. So they should have a pretty good access. They should find a pretty good spot inside the circle. Maybe they can play off of that. We'll have to wait and see. Maldives, on the other hand, in a little bit more trouble rotating through the city, taking a pretty good entry. No one really around them. They should have that 1 team towards their western side inside the city, but they will probably have spotted them already. But either way, they can engage them. Rest of the team just now rotating into the zone.
Pretty slow rotations for a lot of these teams. Pretty slow starts for some of them, considering how hard that circle shifted. Everybody's really taking their time here. and making sure they have all the information they need, making sure they're not going into something that they're not ready for. As slowly but surely seeing them creep on it. Not a whole lot of crashing, not a whole lot of contesting, as Brunei is getting a little close, Indonesia is getting a little too close, and these guys will land their shots. They'll hit them any time of the day. 3 down for Indonesia, though, Felix. It's going to be a bit of a sigh of relief for everybody else in the lobby, right? Everybody else is playing catch-up, and the big dogs have just been decimated.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think everyone's going to look at the kill feed and be like, yes, okay, there's one team less that we potentially have fear in facing. Thailand is out. Indonesia is out. That's 2 of the top 3 from the last game, just by itself. But there are still plenty of good teams standing. Vietnam being one of them. Towards the southern side here. Trying to find an entry to... That is one hell of a nade. Oh my lord. Is that one hell of a nade. Pakistan opening things up against Brunei. Another nade behind it. And I said Pakistan might have a good entry into the zone, but I think they don't even want to have it. I think they want to continuously fight their way in. Has to be careful, though. I think that's one knock against the blue zone. I think he's not going to catch it just in time, where the rest of his teammates are driving all around him, covering and grabbing the attention from the rest of the Brunei players. But that doesn't even matter. Brunei is out, done and dusted, and Pakistan are going to pick up 3 more frags.
That's beautiful stuff. That's nice team play as well, making sure they keep that player alive. Risky business with the flank towards the blue, but they pull it off cleanly, they pull it off perfectly, and they match themselves another few points. Now, seven kills for 1 player dead. Now, that's the sort of territory where we start talking. That's where it starts getting really, really worth. And when I look at this zone, and I look at Pakistan on the southeastern side with just 1 Brunei player in front of them, this could be a massive game for them, and they could just back-to-back have double-digit elims and just bombard themselves back into the standings.
Couldn't agree more. Another hard shift. We've had plenty of hard shifts today. That makes it really tough for the teams playing Edge. Good one for everyone who took their time for a slow and controlled rotate through the southern side. For example, Cambodia. We've been waiting for. And the one team that is, as we said, very expectedly all the way down on the leaderboard. Maybe they can make something of his. Newbie is being spotted out on the rotate. Shouldn't take too long for him to be spotted out from either side. At the moment, he's got the smoke, but that's going to fade eventually. And Bhutan, as well as Pakistan, out there to do something about it. Look at this Bhutan split. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're now using that split to get multiple angles on the situation and hopefully take down Newbies when he makes his way away from the car. I think Momo on the lower ground, if he gets a little bit more aggressive, if he gets a little bit more towards that solo player, and they should be able to grab that kill point, grab a little bit more space. And you can see what all that high ground is doing for them, right? They know exactly he's a solo. They know exactly where he is just because they have a player up on that high ground. And they're not just sitting in the 2 compounds, making sure they survive, but actually making sure they have proactive choices to make to win this game.
Oh, Malaysia still looking across big distances for their frags. They found 2 already. And now we have it. Indonesia is finally eliminated. That's the big team that everyone's been waiting for to go out, and they have finally broken the curse. Even though it's broken the curse in reverse. This round they've not gotten second place, but they haven't gotten 1 either. So the first time around that Indonesia hasn't really made any placement points whatsoever.
Yeah, it's an absolute first, and that is just going to show how crazy they've been throughout the day, right? So this is the first time they're not in the top 3 of a match, which is just mental to think about, absolutely. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with the rest of today. The rest of the lobby now has a chance to maybe come back a little bit. Japan, they're not looking super hot here, split across some of their shacks, but at least they've kept 4 alive. They have kept themselves in it. Malaysia in possibly the best compound on the map right now. And Pakistan in a fight again and starting it off, well, with mixed feelings, I feel like. Losing 1 more member matters so much more when you're already down to 3.
Yeah. Absolutely does. Pakistan has to be careful. I mean, 2 players left standing. And the good thing about it is it's the Maldives on the other side, and they haven't really had too much success in fighting so far. But maybe this time around it's going to change. You'll be 1 with 1. But they do get traded out, all of them. Yoni, I think with a 1v2 there in the end, is going to secure this for Pakistan. He did have IQ left standing, but he was a little bit further away, so either way, they will secure 11 frags already again for Pakistan. They had a good game in the last one, and they will continue to do so right now.
14 in the last one, 11 in this one already. Like I said, absolutely crazy. Bombarding themselves back up the standings and really showing everybody else that was at the bottom of the scoreboard how possible it is to climb all the way back up, right? They're still going to have a good route into the next circle. After that one, it gets tricky. Going past Malaysia here, the team right next to them, is going to be very hard, but they're still going to be in for one more zone. Maybe they'll be able to take a few kills. Maybe Laos on that northern side. Not going to be able to do a whole lot, and maybe going to be able to feed them a few more kills. Hong Kong, though, they've been sitting quite pretty, Felix, in this compound. But once they have to move on out here, I feel like they're going to have so many eyes on them. Yeah.
I think so, too. I think all of these compounds and the entirety of the zone are actually really tricky compounds, because the zone itself is just tricky. You're kind of at the mercy of the zone. If the zone shifts away from you, you'll have to breach someone. You'll have to breach something, do a car fort or anything of the sort, but you're not really in control of a winning play anymore. And that's what makes this zone so very tough. But then again, we'll have to wait and see where it shifts. One team, maybe two teams, are definitely still going to be inside and will be potentially the winners of this next phase. That's how far I would go with how much the circle is now playing into who's winning this game. We'll have to wait and see, though. More rotates are coming on in. Vietnam finally has to rotate off of that big hill they've been staying at for so very long. They should have some ridgelands right in front of them. I think that's where they're going at as well.
Instantly one knocked out of the car, though. It's Lamborghini out of all things, and instantly confirmed as well. Two teams looking on in there. It's combining for the knock and the confirm. And just like that, Vietnam down to 3 members. They're in a solid position here, but once again, lots of angles around them, looking towards them, looking to try and keep them from entering all too deep. Malaysia as well, farming from range here. Putting damage into the lobby. Haven't had to do all that much so far. Haven't had to move out of their compound, but they are making sure to put the damage in. Laos has made it across the road, not all too bad. They're right below the two Pakistan players that are left standing. This is a fight that probably both of these teams, or especially Pakistan, wants to happen, because their prospects to stay in this game and to get deeper into the zone aren't that good. So getting 2 more kills here is massive.
Massive indeed. I wonder how much more Pakistan can do. They've got 11 frags ready, as you said, 14 in the last round. Maybe they can break that record time and time again. Maybe there's a possibility of actually catching Indonesia now, because that's the one round where they really need to perform. You know, when Indonesia goes out early, then they need to pull up, and they did so far. Also Bhutan, seeing what they're capable of. So far, they didn't really have too much pressure, too much challenge all around them, but they played smart with the splits, and that's also something that's not to be underestimated. They knew when to group up back inside the compound, and that's what they've done so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing Bhutan play for the rest of this game.
Bangladesh versus Nepal, one of the strongest fighting teams in Nepal, is not looking hot in this one right now. Bangladesh clearing over the top. They've taken a knock towards them as well, but trading favorably so far. Liquid has to pull off big here. Has to try and get the nades out. Has to try and put as much pressure in as he can. Because even though Bhutan, I think, is pulling up into this fight, potentially from the other side, they need to get the reses themselves, and that's looking like good util. That's going to make the reses so hard. Look at all of these teams flexing out as well. It's Myanmar from the compound at the same time. And it's not looking easy here for Nepal to scrap their way on through. This is, yeah, there's another one. There's a flush from the different side. It's getting harder and harder, Alex.
Yeah, it is. They have to be incredibly careful now of not being shot from any directions the further they move inwards. Now another knock is coming on through. Liquid thought about crossing, but the timing just isn't quite right. And Bangladesh, they needed that as well as picking up 1 more, maybe 2 more frags in total because of it. I think all of the flashes actually went their way. Nepal is eliminated, and that's another absolute top team out of this round.
The top teams are finally showing some weaknesses. Myanmar here, they would love to be more aggressive. They would love to get further out in this, but they only have 1 player ready for it. This would have been a nice opportunity to clear their edge and really take a whole lot of space for themselves. They saw some weakness next to them. Japan, on the other side, have gotten themselves some kills here, but have also lost a member, so slowly getting whittled down in their shack survival positions. As Myanmar is still trying to hold both sides of the road here. They're still holding strong versus multiple teams that might want to aggress the next zone here.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Vietnam can play in the next zone. I think it would have shifted a little bit more north. They could have still played that ridgeline, but otherwise it's going to be really, really tough. A breach on the compound, on the Rainbow compound towards the west. Always possible. But I think with how many people are still looking at it, there's so many other teams that don't really need to necessarily fight at the moment and can just look around the circle like Malaysia. I think that breach is going to be incredibly tough. More breaches are coming in Cambodia. I said we need a good game. Right now, they're in a good spot to do so. Their next fight is going to decide everything they get in this round.
Good reposition from Vietnam, getting themselves closer to the road, playing the little ridge line, using the cars as cover as well to make sure they put themselves in front of Pakistan. Pakistan, again, they did their job here, I feel like. They'd taken out Laos as well, right below them. Remember, that was a fight they wanted to take. They have taken it, and they have won it. Now, if they can find an opening here towards Vietnam, that would be absolutely massive, but they have no right to do so, and they shouldn't be able to get away with it. 2v4, absolutely unspeakable if they do, but there's the push coming out. Shadows, nice little bit of a land grab from him there, making sure that they can't get utility, making sure they don't get naded in the same spot by taking a little bit more ground for himself.
Yeah, really good play. As we come back to Bhutan on that southern side. The team that I'm, as well as Cambodia, the most interested in right now, because I feel like for a team that played, or is that inexperienced that played the best so far, just based off of the few situations we've seen. So incredibly excited to see them play and maybe reach late game once more. 1-8 coming out, Shadows. Oh. A big hope for Vietnam is shatters down to 1 HP. Yes, Yoni almost taking him down. There's a double 8 coming in. That's great team play. But he did get the heal off right before that. And his position right behind the ridgeline is so tough.
He's just he's the only one left for Vietnam. He's the only one left. They've actually taken this fight here, Pakistan, and they've actually managed to come out on top so far. They're just in the 1v2 now. If they manage to get the heals back up, if they manage to group on up, the nade spam is coming on through, and that's the second one. That might even do the trick. 1 HP again, just barely getting the first hit off. The 3 gear and the Groza are holding him in this, but it's a matter of time until they finally clean it up, and IQ gets his 5th with Yone on 8. Pakistan is doing so much work this game.
Oh, yes, they are. Let's take a look on the other side, though. Cambodia is finally getting an entry on towards Bhutan. So for any Bhutan fan, that is not what you want to see. One player being left out in the open and him immediately getting punished for it. And they need to move out of this sometime soon. As you can see, they're only really being covered by one player, and that is, if I saw that correctly, Yeti, still inside the compound, holding their ground against the Bangladeshi player, who need to move in as well. This could be a 3, potentially 4, maybe even 5-way fight here on the southern side. Everyone needs to move in. Question is, who does first?
It's a big pull-up, and that's good shots coming out of Bangladesh. That's making sure that they stay in this for another just few seconds at least, but there's one coming over the top. It's Kiddo. Gets himself one, gets himself a confirm. But he's trying to delay this one, and the more he delays, the easier it gets. Third parties are coming in from a distance. Myanmar has something to say about this, and these fights are getting so messy, so dirty, so quick. Japan trying to hold on. Bangladesh trying to hold on. Cambodia trying to collide from the other sides. Malaysia in this as well. It's an absolute carnage on all sides of the zone, Felix. I have no idea who's going to come out on top of this, but all I know is that on the northern side, there are a few teams that are laughing and smiling at this right now.
Yeah, they are. It's only been 2 frags being secured though by Cambodia. This is so bad. Oh my god, what a shot though from Astro. He's not being taken down just yet. Now he is, as Pakistan from the other side of the circle get their 17th frag. Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely crazy. Pakistan is destroying this lobby. The 18th frag as well as Kenny goes down. What more can they do? This is almost, I want to say at least in the IESF qualifier stages, this is almost record-breaking what Pakistan is putting up right now.
This is absolutely mental. I have no idea what is going on at this point. This is just absolutely insane what they've been able to pull off. Good nade from Malaysia, who've been able to consolidate at least a tiny little bit. More nades coming on now. Japan falling to pieces here in just a matter of seconds. Another nade, that's good. There's going to be the confirm. But Myanmar has been able to consistently reset this as well, Felix. They've been able to stay 4 strong, and they're looking for a contender to win this game, but there's another one coming out for Pakistan. Somehow knock and confirm onto Jimmy. They are just going absolutely ballistic right now. Crazy stuff coming out from them.
Oh, Olio gets taken down by Yeti. Out of all the players, Bhutan is still alive, and Yeti standing and fighting for his honor. And his name now gets traded out by Naoto. But Not even a problem. Not a problem. He's behind the ridgeline. He can get revived. I think at least, never mind. He's being taken out by none other than Pakistan, who I think now have secured that 20th frag, ladies and gentlemen. This is record-breaking at this point. We'll have to wait and see how far this goes. Yone is finally being found by, I do believe, Myanmar, that is, on that western side. But they do need to move out of the zone as well. And look at this. You have IQ standing there, ready and waiting for them to exit it.
That is absolutely mental. I said it'd be crazy if they could get double-digit kills twice in a row. They're getting 20 eliminations in this match alone. It's absolutely mind-boggling. We've had a few people in chat saying, well, Pakistan is there, so the rest of the lobby has an easier time. They've actually turned this around so much. They're slaughtering their way through this. And they're already up to a third place now. They have a good chance of Japan going out before them, I think. And no matter what happens from now on out, 20 eliminations is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. 8 and 9 eliminations on 2 of their players. It's not even spread across 4 players. It's spread across 3 players. And IQ now trying to do some more. He does somehow make it past that ridgeline. Maybe he's found a spot where he can stay alive in, at least for the time being. As this phase 9 is just now closing in, but Japan finds him, and IQ's dreams are shattered for an absolute miraculous run. He will not get that second place. Instead, it is going to be Japan. As the rest of the players are now converging on them, and look at this. What a game. What an absolutely amazing game from multiple teams, but in the end, it is going to be Myanmar taking the chicken dinner with only, and I gotta say only, especially in comparison to Pakistan, only 6 frags.
It's gotta feel bad when you win in the game and everybody says, yeah, but you only had 6 eliminations. Yeah, well, that is the way it goes. I think that was a really well-played game from Myanmar. They were constantly flexing out, making sure they get their kills here or there, making sure that they keep the control of the ground around them. So, really, really good game from them. But the show has been stolen. The show was all about Pakistan in this one. I said it'd be crazy if they could pull off the 4v2 versus Vietnam, and that's literally what they did. No problem at all.
Yeah, Pakistan is that's one force to be reckoned with right now, because if you start off like this 2 times in a row, that confidence is going to transition. So I'm not sure if that's going to stop. Pakistan is going to take the fight if they can. Now, that could be good or that could be bad, but at the moment it seems very, very good. So Pakistan, at the moment, definitely in contention as well for that top 3 spot. We'll have to wait and see. Let's take a look at some of these highlights. Starts off with the team that we've seen in the very late stages as well take second place, win the hard job against the team that's won last round. That is a storyline in and of itself as well. Japan coming back from the depths of the leaderboard to grab some really important points.
Really, really big for Japan, really big for Indonesia, but in the wrong sense, right? That pull-up not working out for them at all. There was some really sloppy shots from Sri Lanka there in that fight for a bit, but it doesn't matter in the end. Indonesia not able to come through, and Pakistan able to third party on it. Pakistan able to clean that up, no problem at all. And that was the start of their roll. That was their first 4 kills, and that's where they started kicking off things, right? And from then on out, they just weren't to be stopped.
No, they really weren't. Indonesia, first time. We're seeing them here right now in the highlights as well for the very first time. Not having as good of a game as they did the 4 rounds before that. Same goes for Brunei, unfortunately. I feel like they had the chances. If they want to win this fight, once again, it would have been a good showing. But they just fall short of winning that one fight that really catapults them into the late game. And also, it was Pakistan. I mean, everyone that met Pakistan in this game, and they did not have good circles, ladies and gentlemen. Pakistan did not have good circles whatsoever. This is a really tough zone to fight, but everyone who met Pakistan got obliterated anyways. So that makes this even more crazy. They weren't just sitting in a central compound with everyone around them kind of converging on them. No, it was the other way around. They had to split multiple times. They had to use their vehicles to their advantage, and that's what they did brilliantly.
When they were stuck on that ridge next to Los Leones, they have Laos right below them. They have 3 of Malaysia in front of them, between them and the zone. I was like, okay, if they manage to take that 2v2 and somehow win it, then that's their job done. That's all they had to do this game. That's pretty much the best outcome. And then they go kill that, and they go 4v2 Vietnam, and then they go kill a few more people, and it's just absolutely mental what they were doing.
Suddenly it's 20.
Suddenly you're up to 20 kills. Completely crazy. What they were able to pull off this one, and we'll see how that affects the standings later. I can't wait, because I think that's a bit of a wake-up signal for everybody else as well, right? A team that's really been struggling in the first 3 matches just absolutely bombarding themselves up the scoreboard in back-to-back games. Just goes to show you that everybody can do it still, and that everybody's still in the running here.
Yeah. Let's take a look at some of these winner statistics, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these team stats. Who did the most amount of work for Malaysia? And, well, everyone did some amount, but Smile, I guess, did the most. Not only in damage, but also in eliminations. And he's only had 51 damage received. You said there was this mathematical formula on how well someone is playing, which is damage through damage received, divided by damage received, excuse me. And he would definitely win this by a big margin, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. That's a really good stat. Usually if you're above 1, right, that's pretty good. And then that was just a solid 10 right there in ratio. Not a lot of smokes and nades expanded on this one. Bit of a different counter on those, but I think that is a little bit to do with how many ridges there are on Miramar and how much more natural cover these teams have. But regardless, pretty consistent stats on all the other stats. I feel like vehicle evens down to 2. Almost more than I would have expected, but pretty standard stuff here.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff. I'm surprised we didn't see more smokes and nades being used. I felt like, as I said on Erangel, I thought Miramar was going to be more prone, but then again, that was a tough zone again. I gotta say, we almost exclusively had really tough zones for edge-playing teams. And that makes it even crazier that Pakistan is such a good game. You can see the post-match stats here. 4 out of the 5 players from Pakistan being in the top 5 categories. So that makes it even crazier. IQ especially, in my opinion, had one hell of a game on here as well. These guys playing their hearts out. Playing their absolute hearts out. They want to qualify. You can tell Pakistanis, they want to qualify for Riyadh, which, to be reminded, top 3 will do from Group B and top 2 from Group A, who will be, which will be concluded tomorrow already. So the next 2 days will be Group A and Group B once more.
And I mean, I am almost sorry for Myanmar, right? Because all we're doing is talking about Pakistan. But I think that graphic there just showed you that they're really dominated in every single category in this game. And they've got the MVP, and they're going to win the team face-off, and they're going to win the player face-off, because this was just some exceptional PUBG. And 9 eliminations, 4 assists. The high amount of assists is because they were a 2-man for so long, so they collaborated on each kill together and fought their way through the lobby. So Yone, absolutely crazy, and we will see what they show up in where they show up on the leaderboard, where they show up in all these stats that we're about to look at. But yeah, they don't need the stats. I think they've let actions speak, and everybody that's watched this game understands that they are towards the top here.
Yeah, there really should be. Let's take a look at some of these match 5 match standings, ladies and gentlemen, before we head on over to the overall standings. Pakistan, 25 points. Is that a record for today? Let me think. Yeah. Yes, it is. I think no one's had a dinner with 15 elimination aces. No. I don't think anyone can even close. I think we had double digits around the 20 mark once, but not 25. So Pakistan, not even getting first, not even getting second, but third, and still having the biggest round of this entire qualification process, Group A included. Absolute massive stuff coming from Pakistan. Myanmar also with 16, and then Japan and Malaysia. Especially Japan, with a huge upset, 16 points, that's what they need, but it's not enough. We said they need a dinner to break through that barrier of the second half, and that's to be determined whether or not that's going to happen. One more round coming up.
Nice shake-up for the leaderboard as well, with a lot of the bottom teams performing here, right? Malaysia is the only top team who actually got good points out of this. Vietnam, Nepal, Indonesia all falling pretty short on this one, so it's really just Malaysia who stay consistent in match 5. And a lot of the bottom teams just creeping their way on up. So that's good to see. That's going to make it a little bit more exciting coming into the rest of the matches for sure.
Also, Cambodia. I really want to touch on Cambodia. I was very surprised. I had to look at this leaderboard for a second. I thought Cambodia would have got more out of this. I thought that was going to be the first really good round for Cambodia, and they got 4 points out of it. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, it just goes to show you. Not necessarily, like, going far and around isn't necessarily what it really comes down to. You need to pick up the frags as well. You need to get that as a 4-man, otherwise the chances of you actually picking up much is slim to none. Same goes for Brunei. We always see them on screen. They always seem to be in spot where they try to make they try to make the chances themselves. They try to create the chances. They try to forge their own luck. Yeah. But every single time they unfortunately lose the fights. In this round, they haven't even gotten a single point off of their fight with Pakistan. So yeah, very unfortunate. It's at this point might just be too late already.
We'll have to wait and see what the overall scoreboard tells us. I'm not writing anyone off at this point. I've just seen the unthinkable. I'm gonna be very open-minded about what these teams can do. I would have not ever guessed that Pakistan is able to pull that off after game 3, and now we have I think we have some player stats coming up for you guys. The live leaderboard, the total leaderboard is not quite ready just yet, so we have the head-to-head for match number 5, and yeah, again, I'm a little sorry for Myanmar, but these stats tell you why we've been raving about Pakistan for so much.
Yeah, 9 eliminations. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm speechless. We haven't seen this kind of performance so far in the IESF qualifiers. You're playing against some of the best teams on the world. Sure, there's some less experienced teams here as well, but you still put up a 9 elimination game in and by yourself, and in a situation where almost every fight they took was either isolated or at a disadvantage. They almost exclusively had fights where they didn't have the advantage, or at least, at least it was a 50-50. So, man, crazy. Pakistan showing us what they're capable of. 6 frags for Myanmar. We said that was a little bit lackluster. Fortunately for them, they didn't really have to move too much in this one. That was the good message for them. So they secure themselves predominantly placement points, and that's what they need as well.
And they played this clean. They played a really good game of PUBG. It's just that they didn't pull off the magic that some others did. So shout out to them. Well played, and they're in 8th place because of that. Pakistan has just pushed themselves into 4th. I'm going to have to go back in the VOD and see what they were before this game, because I feel like they've just skipped by about 10 placement or something like that. They were definitely... I don't even know if they were in the top half before this game. I might be wrong, but they have just made a massive stride towards the top. And Indonesia falling so short, Felix, has opened this up a little bit, with Malaysia now just 2 points behind.
Yeah, just 2 points. That's absolutely massive. Pakistan, though, despite that big game, not in the top 3. That's what I'm more surprised about. That just goes to show you how consistent Nepal, Malaysia, and Indonesia have been playing. Vietnam now. That's the one team I'm a little bit worried about. It's 15 points already, and these guys have been all over the place, right? They've had pretty good positions, but they always tend to lose some players in the process of getting to phase 6. So I'm hoping that's going to be fixed soon.
And there's Japan, creeping up to 11th. A sign of life, I think, for them. Pretty much the only team in the bottom that has been able to do that next to Pakistan. And finally starting to show a little bit of what we expect from that team. I think they need another one, though. If they don't end this one with 40 points or so, I'm not counting on them tomorrow. We are seeing teams pull away at the top, and we are seeing the gaps widening in some instances here. So I think we're going to have to see what Japan can pull off in this last Miramar that we are playing tonight.
One more game, ladies and gentlemen. It's just one more game. So quick shout out to everyone who's been watching so far, who's been supporting the chat. I think we've seen almost every flag now, except for the Indonesian. Obviously, we have an Indonesian stream running in parallel, so that might be the reason for it. But we've seen, I think, almost any flag at this point, so shout out to all the fans supporting. I think it means the absolute world to some of these players. Support your nation, support your country. That's what these players are playing in the first place, right? Some of these teams, they could just, continue practicing with their usual organizations and lineups, preparing for PMWC or any of the tournaments. But no, they want to play IESF. They want to represent their nation. They want to bring honor to their country, and that's why IESF is so amazing in what they do, and the World Esports Championship in Riyadh is going to be an amazing event as well. I know for sure already. Ladies and gentlemen, we will go into a very short break, just a couple of minutes before we head back and show you guys the last match for group number B. Be tuned. Stay tuned. Be tuned. Stay tuned.